Hi there, welcome to week 6 of Sewing Bee Unpicked with me, Jane from Haberdasherdo. This week is Reduce, Reuse, Recycle, I think they call it. And they had to make garments out of, they had to upcycle clothes basically to make completely new garments. So the pattern challenge was to make a men's waistcoat using old suit trousers and suit jackets, and this was going to be tricky because there were never going to be, well, possibly the trousers there might have been panels big enough, but in a lot of cases the panels in the jackets had seams in them or they had pockets in them, so they had to fit everything around them. Raf, he unpicked everything and then re-sewed it together to create whole pieces of fabric, which is why his was pretty clever. There were a few errors that a lot of people made. There's probably a lot of noise going on outside. It's so windy that my door, although my door is shut, the bell is going and you can hear, it sounds like a wobble board outside. It's the sign swinging outside. Can't really do anything about it, so that's the strange noises off camera. Anyway, I digress. So waistcoat, so the main points, this is one I made earlier. This is made quite a while ago. This is made out of an old blanket from IKEA, so you might recognise it. I think they would pick this apart because there's some fundamental errors on here, but I'll point them out because some of the bees did it. The main things were these 2 points at the bottom weren't level, so you had to level those up before you worked out where all your buttons and buttonholes went. Mine are pretty level, although one of them, the point isn't very pointy, and I've got just the gadget to help with that, little point turner. You can get in there and get those points really nice and crisp. The other thing I clearly didn't do on this is I didn't pattern match. So I didn't think about the layout. As I said, this was made from an old blanket from my niece's wedding. So I obviously wasn't thinking about what I was doing. This one also has welt pockets in it, which fortunately the sewers didn't have to do. They can be quite tricky, especially to get them nice and fit and flush. Mine are okay, but they're not perfect by any stretch. The other thing that they picked up on quite a lot was the facings showing. Ooh, that way. So I keep going the wrong side, don't I? The inside of the waistcoat, let me just undo the buttons, then you can see better. So the waistcoat is 14 pieces, which they had to sew together. So inside there is a facing, which is the same as the outer fabric, and there's the lining, so you have to sew those together, and then you have to put the facing on the inside of the jacket and then bag it all out through the side seam. Then they kept talking about the facing showing, so what that meant was it was just curling round, so you have to press it really carefully. Okay, so just do judicious use of an iron for that. Then that's the back. The back's fairly straightforward. You have the waistcoat buckles, which obviously we sell in the shop. Right, so yeah, the main errors were those bottom points not lined up. A couple of them, the lining was a bit short, so it kind of tucked up at the side, and also managing where the seams were placed. So Adina had a bit of a mare, she didn't think it through, and a couple of the others as well. So they picked out Serena's, the half gold and half black with the red back, which looked really smart, but I thought Raf's turquoise and purple stripe one was amazing, looked really good. Okay, there's a couple of patterns I found in the Mccalls range. So 2447, which is a men's waistcoat. It does have welt pockets if you felt brave enough to try those, but you could of course just leave those out. And there's also a few other patterns on there. So it's got a shirt, a tie and a bow tie as well. So there was that one. And there's also this one, 6228. So they do a ladies version. and a men's version. I don't know if the ladies one is slightly more shaped. It doesn't look like it is looking at the back of the envelope. I think it's just a female model that they've used. Okay, so that is the waistcoat. The transformation challenge was to turn army surplus into a lady's garment. They always do a lady's garment. I don't think they've done anything else. Oh, they did a kids one, didn't they? But yeah, it's always changing it into a lady's garment, and given that nearly half of the people there are blokes, then maybe they should do a bloke's garment, but maybe they don't have so much choice. Anyway, Raf's dress with the orange trim was quite striking. Big puff sleeve, sort of asymmetric dress. Farry's cape was the one that got their vote. It was quite quirky, I suppose, with the epaulettes and what have you. And I thought Serena's dress actually was really good. It was like a halter neck dress, quite fitted to just below, just sort of thigh length, and then the sort of camouflage skirt. But everybody says it was too wearable. Isn't that the whole point? That it's wearable. It was probably the most wearable thing I've seen on the whole transformation challenge. Right, the made to measure challenge was to make a lady's garment using a recycling denim. So that meant cutting up lots of pairs of jeans and jackets and things, and then sewing the pieces together to make new fabric, so they could then cut their new pattern pieces out of that. So we saw all dresses, I think, and there were some really interesting designs. Adina unfortunately didn't think hers through, I don't think, because she seemed to be making it up on the hoof. The finished dress was really nice, and it had the red kind of paint spattered panel on the back, which was really cute. So there were oh, excuse me, a few sort of similar design dresses. So I found a couple of patterns, but not too many. So there was Adina. So Serena did the half and half dress. It was white, sort of grading through to a darker blue denim. That was in panels. That was really lovely. Just kind of a skater style. I think Esme picked her up for putting all the shaping on the side seams when you needed to put the flare in the front panels as well to give it even. Otherwise, it just kind of stuck out like that. And Damien's as well was a similar kind of design to Serena's, that kind of skater kind of dress. Right, so pattern-wise, so 811. I thought this one was a similar kind of shape to Adina's, and also to Rebecca's, which had the patchwork panel down the front. And I think C actually was kind of similar to Raf's, except his had a halter neck as opposed to the straps. I'll come back to that one. Yeah, Serena, Damien. Farry's black and white one, I thought that was stunning, with the asymmetric zip down the side. I thought that was a really stunning dress. And Andrew's handkerchief hem dress was pretty clever. So I found a handkerchief hem kind of style dress. It's fitted from the waist, so that's 7315. Andrew's had the sort of strappy top, so this is a different style top, but I thought the skirt was pretty similar. But his patchwork was pretty amazing, actually, how he'd got the panels to kind of go in a herringbone style, so the skirt was going one way and then the top, and he managed to match up the pieces, so I thought that was pretty clever. Rebecca also did a patchwork panel down the front, which was quite clever, but I didn't like how it didn't really join together, that dress, for me. But there we go. Adina's dress looked good, but it was too tight on the model. It kind of really pulled around her bum, so it pulled everything up, so it made it look all baggy around the waist. Damien's was similar to Serena's. He had lots of top stitching on his, which kind of tied it all together. So Damien and Serena, I think theirs had sort of princess seams, which are the seams that give it shaping. They go down here. So this dress is a kind of skater style dress. I think they both had sleeves, but this one doesn't. But it is quite a pretty style dress, and it's got some flare in the skirt, in the front panels and in the side, as me. Okay. And then Raf's patchwork wave dress was absolutely stunning. He had 16 pieces in the front and the back, which he'd sewn together and kind of frayed the edges. And when he was saying what he was doing, I thought he's never going to finish that in time, but he did, and it looked pretty good. I thought it was a bit of a weird fit because it did kind of stick out a bit, but no one mentioned that, so we'll give him Garment of the Week because of all the work that went into it. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on Sewing Bee this week. So have a good week and see you next time. Bye.